Hi, everyone, and welcome back to The Manage Her, the podcast where we reframe the invisible work of women as powerful leadership. I'm your host, Aimee Rickabus, author of The Manage Her, entrepreneur, and mama of 6. Today's guest is someone who embodies the art of turning pain into purpose and purpose into impact. Gabrielle Scout Maio is the founder and CEO of Scouts Agency and the go-to firm for entrepreneurs, authors, and thought leaders like me who want to amplify their message through the power of podcasts. But Scout's story didn't just start with success, it started with struggle. Before entrepreneurship, she was floundering, battling bipolar disorder and searching for something that felt aligned. Then in 2018, she discovered entrepreneurship, and everything changed. Within 3 months of starting her business in 2019, she quit her job and never looked back. Since then, Scouts Agency has booked over 5,000 podcast episodes, pioneered the concept of the podcast tour, and helped hundreds of voices become movements. She's also the author of The Emotional Entrepreneur, a collection of 25 emotional lessons for anyone building a business from the inside out. Today, we're talking about what happens when motherhood meets ambition, why being early in innovation is hard but worth it, and how emotional intelligence, not hustle, is the real secret to success. Welcome to the show, Scout. It's so nice to have you here today.
Oh my gosh, I'm so honored. I've been looking forward to this. I'm really excited. Thank you.
So fun. It's fun to have another mom, entrepreneur. You've got littles too, the little girl,
Yeah.
like toddler age, like
Yeah,
me.
singular, not plural.
Just one, which is the hardest one, actually. The number one is I think that one is the one's boot camp.
I hear mixed reviews. I hear that the first is the hardest. I hear the second is the hardest.
Yeah.
But I do hear that once you hit 3, it's like just bring more and it doesn't matter.
That is so true.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Honestly, yeah. When I went from 1 to 2, I was scared.
Yeah.
But 2 to 3 was like, okay, all right, we got this.
Yeah.
And then when you're at 3, you're just like,
Yeah.
and then you don't already have enough hands to hold everyone's hand anyway. So if they can just hold each other's hands, let's go.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I hear. But one's been amazing. It's been definitely an adjustment. A lot of things that I know we'll get into, especially when it comes to business, that like you just don't know until you have a kid and you're living it.
Oh yeah. No, it all seems like so easy when you're watching it from the outside and then you're in it and you're like, wow, this is like 24/7 and it
Yeah.
doesn't stop.
I know. I remember being such an asshole to my friends who didn't have kids. I'd be like, why can't you just get a babysitter and come to dinner with me? I'm like, and looking back, I'm like, wow. There's so many things that once you have a kid that you realize that are just very perspective altering for sure.
Oh yeah, it's big time. It's a big time shift.
Yeah.
The world isn't about you anymore. Now it's
Mhm.
about this new little person, and it's
Mhm.
kind of it's a huge perspective shift. And
Yeah.
as a woman in business, it changes a lot of things. But before we get into all of that, before you became the founder of one of the leading podcast agencies, you said you were floundering and navigating bipolar disorder.
Mhm.
Could you take us back to that chapter? What did finding entrepreneurship in 2018 unlock for you?
I usually start my story at the age of 14 when I had my first depressive episode. But if you go back into my childhood, there were very early signs of mental health issues around 4 to 5. The Spark Notes version is I had my first depressive episode at 14, was put into therapy, but it wasn't really until I left for college that some bigger warning signs were coming up. I was losing touch with reality, experiencing paranoia, anxiety, depression, psychosis, catatonia, etc. And so when I was diagnosed, my therapist and my psychiatrist said that I wouldn't be able to function in society. It would be hard for me to hold down a job and really be something of myself. And that was pretty true. I started jobs and I quit them. I dropped out of college, God knows how many times. And it was really hard for me to stand on my own 2 feet. And then one day, I was sitting with my friend at a coffee shop, and I had just come back from a trip to New York with my family. And I brought home this magazine, like this indie magazine. And I looked at her and I said, why don't we start a magazine? And she said, sure. And the plan was we were going to print it at Kinko's and we were going to take all the photos with Polaroids and we were just going to pass it out to our friends.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, an hour after we decided that, something in my brain just like switched and I got the URL, the domain name, the Instagram handle. I started emailing printers. All of a sudden, I have 5 meetings with the best printers in Orange County. They're quoting me $10,000. I'm like, great, I have to do a Kickstarter. I do a Kickstarter. We raise the money. We have 3 issues. The third is in Barnes& and Noble and newsstands across the country. And Halsey's on the cover of our 3rd magazine.
No way.
I was 22. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God. Like, I wasn't placed in the right lane. And when I found entrepreneurship, it worked for me for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
One, bipolar disorder, you have high highs and low lows.
Mhm.
Two, I could always have my psychiatrist write me a note to get out of something that I didn't want to do because it felt too painful and too tough
Yeah.
to see it through. So having responsibility was hard for me at that time. But if you put all the responsibility on my shoulders, then I show up because I couldn't write. Who was I going to write a sick note to? Barnes and Noble? Like there, I have a purchase order. And so suddenly I found not only a framework that worked with my mind, but a framework that really made me excited and fulfilled. And that's when I kind of said to myself, wow, there is a purpose and a path forward for me that is successful. And it was also the start of me realizing how much power I had placed into other people's hands.
Yes.
Very similarly, they told me that I was too severe of a case to get off medication and get pregnant naturally.
Mhm.
And so I was looking at surrogates and I was going to outsource, in my opinion, the most important experience and job I've ever had, which was, growing my baby girl. It's really been through many different ways. Entrepreneurship showed me that limitations that other people put on you aren't necessarily true. You just haven't found the right avenue for you. And so ever since I found entrepreneurship, it's been, I don't know, 10, 15 years of me taking radical responsibility for myself, me choosing what I'm going to do in this lifetime and showing up. And entrepreneurship was the thing that gave me that vehicle and gave me the confidence to really do that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love it too.
Yeah.
I'm not even bipolar, but I get it. When you're in a manic episode, it's the perfect time to launch something,
Oh my
actually.
God. It's so good. And I'm like, what's wrong? I'm a little manic and I'm just working a lot and like being successful. Like there could be worse things that I'm doing.
I get it. I totally get it. I'm like, oh, I can see how that would absolutely work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, you need that like extra energy because it is like launching something. It's like you
Yes.
need that extra fuel
Yeah.
to get something off the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is a high. There's
Yes.
no doubt about it. And listen, we pay equally for the high because the lows are really tough.
Yeah.
But I think you're either built for it or you're not. And if you are built for it, once you find it, it's really hard to do anything else.
Yes. Yes, I hear that so often
Yeah.
from so many of my guests.
Yeah.
If it's for you, there's
Yes.
really nothing else that you could do.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
there isn't. I say I'm stuck here. Like there's no, I could never work a job. It wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, my husband and I call ourselves unemployable.
Oh, I am so unemployable. I don't even know what I would be like if I had a boss. I don't think it would be a very strange world, that's for sure.
Different. Yeah, no, I know. It's like, no, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
So you started your podcast in 2018,
Yes.
agency in 2019, and
Mhm.
within 3 months, you were able to quit your job.
Mhm.
So, what do you think made Scouts Agency take off so quickly?
That's such a good question. By the time I started Scout's Agency, I had tried a bunch of other businesses that did not work in my early 20s. And I think I had something to prove
Mhm.
to myself and to my family. I dropped out of college. I just really wanted to make a name for myself and I wanted to start a business that would actually make me money and support me. I wanted to prove to the world that I could do this. And so I started, so there was a little bit of that, and
Yeah.
that goes a long way. That's a
It
big
does.
motivator. But when I started my podcast in 2018 with my sister, which we no longer do, we did it for 7 years. It was run on one of the top networks. We've had every guest under the sun. It was the most incredible experience. I fell in love with the medium, and I was having the most beautiful, in-depth, concentrated conversations with women I never thought I had access to. I did not have a network. I did not have Instagram followers. My career was basically a question mark. And all of a sudden, there's a place for me to talk to best-selling authors and entrepreneurs and reality TV stars and content creators. And that's something people don't realize about podcasting is how accessible it allows you to build a network. It really,
Mhm.
people that you don't think you have access to, you can have access to if you have a podcast. So I was falling in love with the medium, and what I saw happening was that when I would publish these episodes, I would watch our community follow our guests online, buy their products, sign up for their course, buy their book. And that's when I realized that being a guest on a podcast was a form of PR. and not just any form of PR, but one that had such deep ROI because it was so human.
Yes.
There's nowhere else in the social digital media landscape that you could go to and spend up to an hour with someone where they are speaking in a very intimate and vulnerable way. The way I'm talking with you now would be different if I was on stage talking to 2,000 people, right? And so
Absolutely.
people get to be a fly on the wall to very small, intimate conversations, and that helps them emotionally connect with the person. And if they resonate and hear something in them that is going on in their life, they then are more, it's like a stickier first impression, and they're more prone to go follow them, support them, sign up for their business, etc. And so I saw it happening in real time. And when I say the story, and I'm telling the origin story because it's going to get to why it became successful so quickly. When I say it back, it sounds very polished. This was not as polished. I was like, I'm going to try this. I saw something happening. I saw it working. I realized no one else was doing it. And I was like, let me try. And I think that is one of the biggest misconceptions about entrepreneurship and business is that you have this super clear idea in the beginning, and the first thing you start is the home run. This was like my fifth thing that I started. And it was just this willingness to try again and to be curious
Yes.
and to keep my eyes open for things that I felt I could fill in a market that I liked.
Yes.
And so I found a market I liked. I found something that wasn't happening, and I was like, let's try. I had a media kit. I emailed 1,000 women the first 24 hours. Gmail blocked my email. I opened up another email account. I had 2 email accounts, which was a total show for like a year operationally. It was honestly this hunger. It was 2 things. It was a hunger, and it was I found something that didn't exist.
Mm.
And people ask like, "Oh, well, that sounds like you got lucky finding something you didn't exist." And it's like, "No, because it took me 5 years to find that thing."
Yeah.
And so keep your eyes open, see what you like, see what excites you. And so in the beginning, I had something that wasn't being offered by pretty much anyone else. My prices were stupid low,
Yeah.
so it was pretty much a no-brainer for people to work with me,
Right.
and I hustled. Like, I hustled. I mean, 1,000 pitch emails went out within 48 hours to work with me, cold emails. 3 months in, I was making just as much money as I was making working for my mom, which is, like, the only day job I've ever had. I was, like, employee number 3 in her startup, so it wasn't even, that buttoned up. I think as an entrepreneur, you have to not be risk averse.
Yes.
And
Aware.
yes, I wasn't even risk aware. I was masochistic, I think, at that point, I call it, but I was also 27 and I didn't have kids and I was naive and I never done this before. And I think it was that perfect storm of I found something that didn't exist. I was hungry and I had a chip on my shoulder for something to prove. And I was in a position of naivete and, not really having anyone that I was responsible for to make some pretty risky decisions in that first year. And that's how we hit 100,000, over 100,000 in our first year. And then we just doubled, tripled, quadrupled, year after year. And it's been amazing. And now I look back at that girl and I'm like, wow, she really put herself out there.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that she did.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We do. We kind of you today can take risks that will benefit the you of the future.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
The risks I take now look a little different.
Yeah.
I feel really grateful that I put myself every single day in situations that were highly uncomfortable. That first year I hired my first employee. I signed a lease on an office. I started growing my team. I went pretty fast
Yeah.
and it was hard. It was a hard year, but it was one of the most fulfilling years, I think, of my life.
Yeah, I love the startup phase
Yeah.
of anything. It's
Yeah.
like being in love,
Totally.
like that first year of dating somebody.
Yes, it really
Everything
is.
is just perfect, and you really haven't run into the cracks yet, usually, of
Yeah.
seeing things that, the pitfalls. And the first year is just absolute magic.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It was magic. It was. So that's why I think it worked. I think it was a
Yeah.
perfect storm.
Yes, I love it. So you were one of the first to see podcast tours as the new PR. How has podcasting changed the landscape of marketing and thought leadership?
Significantly,
Yeah.
especially when video started getting introduced, because that's when it started bleeding into social media. And we spoke a little bit about this earlier. 7 years ago, podcasting, there was still an educational element that I had to tell people about. Not everybody was listening to them. Now, today, a podcast is a brand extension at this point, very similar to how brands have Instagram or TikToks or Substacks. Well, now they're doing Substacks. They have podcasts. And so it has not just become almost like I think in the beginning it was the democratization of radio, right? People could just have their own talk shows and it was influencer based or news based. And now we're really seeing it move into the business space. So not only are thought leaders using podcasts as a way to go deep with their community, it's a way to develop content that isn't 90 seconds, but actually provides a lot of depth. It's also a place where your community can come and hear a lot more about you. Typically, thought leaders have a message that has more depth. They typically have books, right? Like you,
Mhm.
they're authors. So authors and podcasting goes very hand in hand because it's a medium that offers more long form like ways to communicate. So we're seeing that happen where podcasting is becoming a marketing and business brand strategy for thought leaders and businesses. And then with the introduction to video, it's also, I mean, sometimes I tell my clients don't even worry about the downloads, just have a podcast for marketing and content at some point too. So it's really gone away from, in my opinion, like the purest version of what a podcast is, which was audio only. And it's become a marketing machine for thought leaders and businesses now, too, who are placing executives as the thought leader representative of that company. It really is the human first way to market your business. That's why it lends itself to thought leadership so well. That's why podcast content does so good on social media. So it's been really cool to see that evolution from this more casual audio only medium to now we're talking it's a business strategy for thought leaders and brands that want to develop thought leadership within their businesses.
Yeah, it's like you and I were saying, it's not just a podcast now, it's like a TV show
Yeah.
because you're really, like, in full production with
Oh, yeah. And it's, there's this, which is happening. There's so many layers to this. This is happening right now, but I'm taking behind the scenes photo that I'm going to post on Instagram, right? So then my community is going to see me in the interviewee seat as an expert, which is going to create thought leadership for my existing community. Even if they never listen to this podcast,
Yeah.
I can put it in my newsletter at Scouts Agency that's going to catapult me even further into thought leadership and expertise. I'm going to put a social media reel up. When you really start thinking about it as that, there are 90% of people on the internet that are going to see you on the podcast that are never going to listen to the podcast. But then the 10% that do are like the ultimate fans converting really deep part of your client base or community. So I really urge people to think of podcasts less of a just a content channel and much more of a show, a production, and a marketing vehicle for so much of your business if you use it properly.
Yeah, it really is nice. I feel like it takes the ideas that were in my book and allows because there's so much meat on the bone.
Mm-hmm.
You can only put so much in a book. And then it's like, no, let's expand this idea. Let's really get in and talk about how the invisible work that women do is leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do that now with all of these amazing women that are thought leaders in their own right
Mm-hmm.
and leaders in their own right. And it's so cool to be able to expand the idea and the concepts of the manager in this like very expansive way.
Yeah.
The podcast is so expansive. It's such a long format. It's so intimate,
Mhm.
you
And
know?
you're bringing other voices in too.
Yes.
Like the amount of women that you're gonna network with at the same time. That's why it's my favorite because 'cause I'm like, find me another medium that scratches the itch of I get to go deep and
Yes.
I get to like, as you said, like there's so much more meat that I really want to dive into. And so we could have really impactful conversations that you and I leave feeling lit up about.
Yeah.
And then what it does to your community, my community, your business, my business, our network,
Yeah.
it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
It really is. There's synergy. I felt like there's so much synergy. When I was exploring the concept, I'm like, do I just want to do solo? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do solo.
Yeah.
There's so much synergy in the guest. You
Especially
know?
for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much synergy there,
Yeah.
because you're talking about two businesses now. You're talking about two thought leaders in the same room, two high level people that have done cool stuff,
Yeah.
having conversations about doing cool stuff.
Yeah. And when it comes to like, the invisible work and stuff that women don't talk about behind the scenes.
Yeah, like potty training.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was just going to curse again. Making me
I
anxious.
know. I told Scout, just bring her little girl over to my house. I'll potty train her.
Oh my God.
I'm getting really good at this.
Oh my God. Like, I might. Like, you might. You're going to hear a knock on the door. I'm going to throw her and run away.
Fine, totally. We'll keep her for a weekend. We'll have her potty trained.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You give me hope. You give me hope.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's all about confidence. It really is.
I
You
don't have
to
it.
be confident.
I don't have the confidence.
No, but you don't when it's like your first time. The more kids I potty train, the more confident I got, and I'm like, yo, okay, like today's the day. We're gonna put the underpants on. This is
Yeah.
it. And
Well,
he's gonna pee in the underpants a few times, but like I said, there's always more pee than poo. So
yeah.
it's
I feel
it's
like
not that bad to learn on pee.
I'm a one and done kind of girl, kind of mom. So this is my only chance. So maybe I should develop a little bit of confidence so I don't screw this one up.
Oh, you've got this. It's not as hard as it sounds,
Okay, that's
honestly.
good to
Yeah,
know.
like, yeah, I think if you overthink it, you can really overcomplicate it. But
Yeah.
really the idea is they can really do this. It's just a matter of giving them the confidence.
Yeah.
Like if you believe they can do it, they'll believe they can do it.
Yeah, you're so true. It was so cute. I asked her, I was filming her and I said, "Do you want to go in the toilet? You want to go pee pee in the toilet?" And she looks at me and she goes, "Not yet. When I'm bigger, older. Not yet." And I'm like, "Okay, well, will you be bigger, older tomorrow?" "No, not yet." Okay,
You're like, okay.
we'll try again later.
Yeah, no rush, no rush. But usually, I mean, they'll tell you when they're ready too.
She's
Most of
starting
them.
to. I think she's in preschool. She sees other kids. So,
Oh, yeah. No, so my second son came home from preschool and he looked at me and he goes, my girlfriend,
oh, his girlfriends.
first day of preschool,
Hello.
my girlfriend wears underpants.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
gotta grow
and
up.
he was like, that weekend, he potty trained.
Oh my
And he never wore a diaper again.
Wait, this is the best news ever.
Yeah.
Your little son is going to be such a man. Like, he's rising to the occasion. He's like, that woman's killing it. I got to up my game. Like, he's already doing great.
That was it. He was not quite 3 years old yet. He was going to be 3 in November, and this was like September. And
Okay.
that kid he rocked it hard, but he was motivated. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, hey, look, my girlfriend
Yeah.
wears underwear, and so the diapers are so. He was like embarrassed.
Yeah, exactly. He was like seen in a diaper around his girlfriend.
No, he could not be seen in a diaper. So I was like, so if they're motivated enough, like some kids are really highly motivated and some kids aren't.
Yeah.
But Gabriel, he was highly motivated individual, and he still is.
Okay.
Like
I got to find Lily a boyfriend who's
Yeah.
potty trained.
there you go. Find her a boyfriend who's potty trained, and she'll be like, this diaper's a real drag, mom. There you go. Secrets of parenting.
That's the secrets of parents.
Yeah. It's social pressure.
That is the cutest story I've ever heard. I love it. I love it. That is so cute.
And they were like boyfriend, girlfriend, for they were so cute for like years. Like 3 or 4 years. She went everywhere with us.
Really? And
Yeah.
they called each other boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yeah, they were so cute. They like hold each other's hands.
Oh my
And they were so,
gosh.
so cute.
That
and
is
then they grew up.
adorable.
But it was like
Did
the
they formally
cutest.
break up or like,
It was more subtle, but I think Gabriel was she's a little older than he was. Like she's like I think 6 or 9 months older than him. So I
wait,
think she aged out of their, little kid relationship.
you need to report back on what Gabriel's like when he's 18 or 19 because
gosh.
I feel like we have some good signs here.
We do. Oh, he is a mensch, dude.
Oh.
He is the cutest. Like
Oh.
he's turning 14 now, and
Are you
is-
Jewish?
No, but I mean,
Sorry, I was like,
I'm
wait a minute, wait a minute,
I-
wait a minute.
So my mom did her internship at Cedars. I was born at Cedars, at
Okay.
Cedars Sinai,
Yeah.
and I don't know, my great grandmother was half Jewish
Okay.
on my mother's side. So technically, yeah, if
Yeah,
you look at it
yeah.
from the mother's side of things, yes.
Wow.
But yeah, so
I mean, mensch that's a pretty advanced Yiddish word. You don't hear those from a lot of non-Jews. I was like, wait a minute, did we not discuss something?
I think I can hold it down, a little bit.
I
But,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I won the mensch award in 8th grade, and I'll never forget that at my Jewish school. So,
Like he really is. Like
Yeah.
he's just always been such the man. Like
Mhm.
he's so rad. And he's the one who teaches himself everything. He
Yeah.
really is like, he's amazing.
Oh,
He's
he's
the one. He's a hobbyist.
okay.
Collects hobbies.
That's
He's a
cute.
brilliant.
How old is he now?
hobbyist. He'll be 14 next month.
Oh, whoa, wow. I'm okay.
But
wow.
he's no longer a little man.
Mm.
He's like 190 pounds and like 5'10" and sounds like a grown man. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, teenage boys.
Oh, it's so crazy. I'll hear men talking down in my kitchen, and I'm like, "Who are the men in
The
my
14,
kitchen?"
the
Yeah,
14-year-old.
the 14 and the
The 14.
16-year-old talking to each other down.
Wow,
I'm
that
like,
must be a
"Whoa."
trip for you.
So weird. It's not like I don't know. It's so, so strange that they hit puberty and turn into, like, full-grown men in, like,
See, I
a
think
year.
I'm gonna thrive. Like,
Yeah.
I am my mother's daughter, and the baby toddler stuff is just it's not so my jam, and I'm just waiting for 7th and 8th grade to roll around because I am it's like, put me in coach. Like, I'm gonna kill it in middle school and high school. I'm so primed and ready for that phase of being a mom. I know it scares a lot of people, but that feels like I'm gonna be in my element when I hit that age.
And that's a beautiful age to feel comfortable in because
Yeah.
a lot of parents feel very uncomfortable dealing with that
Yeah.
age kid. I like them all. I think that's why I have so many kids is because I actually really like all of the stages,
Yeah.
and they're all stages. So it's kinda even if you're in a bad stage, it won't last long,
Yeah, I know. It's
you
been
know?
something that I struggle with tremendously is my relationship to motherhood because I look at other moms and I don't necessarily see myself in a lot of them, or I say the thing that like they've been afraid to say and then it comes out that they do feel the same way that I do. But that is something that I do struggle with, looking at a toddler and knowing that this is not my I don't wanna say strength because I'm a really good mom and I'm very intentional and know all about the developmental milestones and what she emotionally needs, and I'm super, super I do the job really well.
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is not the job I would choose to do today." It doesn't hit the way other things hit for me in life, and I know that's a phase thing, right? Like
Unfortunately, it's such a short phase of
totally,
raising a human being.
totally.
I was talking to another mom, she's a coach, Amanda
Yeah.
Jaggard, and she's episode 36. She'll be out by the time this one airs. But we were talking about how you're not raising kids. You're raising future parents. You're raising future
Yes.
partners. And
Yes.
so it's like,
That part excites me. Like, the
yes.
part of, like,
Yeah.
thinking, I want her to be able to tell me things when she's older, and I wanna be able to walk her emotionally through, and I want her to feel empowered, and I want her to go out and know she can do anything, and I want her to take responsibility over her life, and I know the type of woman that I'm raising. It's just I don't wanna play Candy Lane. Like, I don't wanna go to the park. I do not wanna go to Legoland. Like, I just don't wanna do any of that, and I listened to someone on a podcast a while ago, and she said that she felt guilty because she didn't wanna do all the play things with her toddler,
Yeah.
and the psychologist is like, "Well, how old are you?" And she's like, "I'm 32, whatever," and the psychologist is like, "Yeah, 32-year-olds aren't supposed to like playing games built for 3-year-olds." I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
that makes sense."
totally.
So it's totally about, for me, going easy on myself during this phase and
Yes.
being able to be open about the fact that this isn't my
And
favorite.
our oxytocin doesn't actually fire from that stuff. So
Yeah,
our
it
oxytocin
doesn't.
fires from like more of taking care of them,
Yes,
but actually their
we're
father's
supposed to play.
oxytocin plays.
Yes,
They when they play, that's when their oxytocin fires. So that's where
yes.
they're getting their hits. But we aren't. So it's you're what you're feeling is perfectly normal.
You're so right,
Yeah.
and I am going through a divorce this year, so I'm co-parenting, and anytime there's a man around, like
Yeah.
my stepbrother,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, "Go. Just you gotta do this. You gotta do the play right now because there's a
Yes.
man in the room," and
Yes.
men are so good
Yeah.
at playing with toddlers.
They really are.
They really are, where
Yes.
I, like, as a woman, just can't do it. I'm like, "I wanna cuddle you, I wanna make you lunch, I wanna get you dressed in the morning, I wanna do all those things." And
Yes.
so now I know anytime I'm with, like, my brother-in-law, right, if he's over,
Yes.
I'm like I take her to the beach, and I'm like, "You guys go play." And it's
Play.
amazing to I think all those differences in men and women also came as a shock to me, but once you realize them, it's really great to
Yeah.
play to the strengths of what we're
Play
naturally good at.
yes, and play to what our biology wants us to be doing,
Yes.
more or less,
Yes.
because if you
Totally.
know how the biology is reacting to these things, it's like, "Okay, well, it's okay, I don't have to feel guilty about that."
Yeah,
Like, I
totally.
really don't wanna have a tea party right now, I really don't,
Yeah.
and I will occasionally have a tea party because both the 3-year-old and 4-year-olds want
Yeah.
they both wanna have a tea party, and I'm like, "Okay, we can have a tea party for, like, 5
Yeah.
minutes." Yeah,
Yeah.
but, like, I really don't wanna have a tea party, but I'll make popcorn and we can watch a movie on the couch.
Yeah, that's how I am. That's how I
Yeah.
am. I know, it's funny when you start opening up about these things that you didn't realize were, I don't know, the way it goes kind of in many ways, or that you see things on Instagram about mothers loving, being with their children all the time, and you're wondering why you like to work all the time still. Like, that was a big thing for me when I was pregnant. I was worried that having a kid would change my ambition. And I
Yes.
told myself, well, if it does, then it's for the better because I would want it to be different at that point in my life. But it's very difficult to navigate both.
Yeah, totally. I know, and I love this. You were saying how motherhood cuts the fat,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it does. It forces you to manage your time in a different way.
Oh, yeah, totally. It also forces you to not really go with your biology. I don't know if you've had this experience. Before I was a mom, if I was tired at 2 p.m. in the workday, I would take a nap
Yeah.
because I wasn't going to fight my computer. I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to take a nap. I'll work later tonight." I loved that I was able to go with how I was feeling because I had 24/7 to do whatever I wanted. So while motherhood cuts the fat significantly, you realize real quick that about 40% of what you do every day does not need to be done, and it is not needle moving things, and it's extra fluff, and you can cut it and the world keeps going on and your business keeps doing the same, which was like, oh my God, everyone's just being busy for no reason.
Yes.
And it can be difficult at times because you have a short window to work.
Mhm.
And in that window, I'm working,
Mhm.
but when I don't feel like working in that window, it's a struggle in my head because this is
Yes.
it. I got 6 hours to do this. I don't
Mhm.
care if you have a headache. I don't care if you're starting your period. I don't care. You gotta do it in these 6 hours.
Yeah.
And so while it cuts the fat, it also sometimes makes you do you know what I'm trying to
I
say?
do, I do. Yeah, yeah. So I cut my time down. The less time I have to do tasks, the more productive I am.
Oh, interesting. I've heard that theory.
I know it's so
It's a
4-hour work
theory.
week of Tim Ferriss,
No,
you
but it's a
know?
real theory
But
that
for me,
yeah.
it really works. Like, so
Okay.
if I only have a few hours to get something done or to get a list of things done, I can actually get more done in a couple of productive hours than I can like in a 6-hour block. Like 6 hours is daunting to me.
Okay, this is actually studied.
Yeah.
It's a theory. I don't know what it's called. It says that you will complete the task in the amount of time you give yourself to complete the task. So if
Yes.
you give yourself 3 hours, it will take you 3 hours. If you give yourself 1 hour, it will take you 1 hour. And I think this is what I need to start unlocking is that 6 hour window does feel really daunting to me now as a new mom. I don't know why. Before a 12-hour day, I'd be like, let's go. Like I can fill
Well,
every single
you're
hour.
tired.
But yeah, now it's like I'm tired. And my hormones have for sure not balanced, and
Yeah.
so I love that. I'm gonna start doing smaller time blocks.
Set
Yeah, I
smaller
like that.
time box. You'll increase your productivity,
That's a
especially if
good
you
one.
don't feel like doing something right now. Don't do it. Go to a yoga class, go for a walk on the beach
Yeah,
and give yourself take an extra hour to
yeah,
not do it
yeah,
and then go and do it in a shorter amount of time.
yeah, that's okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you become a mom and you run a business, you have to change the way you work.
Definitely.
Mhm.
But I feel like being parents, like for my husband and I, we have a few companies and we run them together. And it's the way as we've matured, as we've had more children, as we're, coming into more of our middle age life, our companies are doing better
Yeah,
and we work less.
yeah,
It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why that is. I don't know how that is. I don't know if it's like your systems get better as you do
it
things. Your systems, you refine your systems, your processes, and your procedures,
and
and
people who
and
do
your
it for you.
people. Yes, exactly. And that is a thing.
Yeah,
And so I think that's like the goal in life, especially with parenthood, because you want to have the time to do the thing. If the
mhm,
kid has a ballet recital, you're going to the ballet recital. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like you want to be able to do the things you want to do. So you create the systems and have the people around you that help you do those things.
That it's so true. It is a mind like warping concept to think about because we're taught that the harder you work, the more hours you put in, the more you get. And it's just not the case. I make more money today now and I work a fraction of what I used to work forever ago because you laid a foundation and you get better at it. There's this amazing Picasso, someone saw Picasso at a coffee shop and they said, "Can you draw me something?" And he said, "Sure." And so he drew a 3-minute doodle and he said, "That'll be $20,000." And she says, "It took you 3 minutes." And he goes, "Yeah, but it took me 40 years to be able to do that in 3 minutes." And that's that concept
I
of
love that.
time and hard work doesn't necessarily mean value and what you provide and what you've created. And so it's much more about the ecosystem that you have that's up and running versus the amount of hours that you work. And I think as a businesswoman and an entrepreneur, before having a kid, it was about running a business and hitting milestones and having the cool office and all the stuff. And now it's much more about profitability,
Yes.
space on my calendar,
Mm-hmm.
working smarter, not harder, and ultimately delegating to put me out of a job, but that I still make money from.
Heck yeah.
That's the point. That's the point as
We want
business
to work
owners.
on our businesses, not
Yes.
in them,
Yes.
and that's the goal.
I think, yeah. And I think having a kid forces you to make that leap real fast.
Heck yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like every single time we've had a kid and added another kid to the roster, we've had to level up a little bit.
Yes.
It's something my husband and I always talk about. It's like almost like you can look at the birth years of our kids and see when our companies are born.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you carry well? Like, were you okay?
I have the best pregnancies. I'm so flippin' lucky. I'm like,
I would have more if that was the case. I was hungover for 9 months, but do you wanna know what that taught me?
Yeah.
My business, as you said, our best year, we hit our best revenue the year I was pregnant, and I was at 30% capacity.
Wow.
And that was a really big lesson in
Yes.
it's not about how much I work,
No,
or it's not about
because
how
we
hard I
do.
work.
When you're a young entrepreneur, you think you have to work really hard. I've watched
Yeah.
my mom when she was a young entrepreneur,
Yeah.
and she would burn herself the candle at both ends,
Yeah.
and then she'd end up sick.
There's a time and place.
Yeah.
I think in that first year, that
Yes.
is what you do,
Yeah.
because if you don't give it's like a newborn. It's
Yeah.
like babies. Like, newborns you gotta be with 24/7. They're exhausting you. You're burning out, right?
Yeah.
And then the older they get, the more independent they get, and you walk away a little more. They can do things on their own. You don't have to be with them all the time. It is the same thing for a business. And so
I
the
love
point being, though, is that you don't stay in the newborn phase in your business for 10 years just because you think you have to.
Yes, ma'am. That's
Yeah.
a big one because
Yeah.
if you do, you will end up sick,
Yes.
you will end up in the hospital,
Yes.
you will burn yourself out.
That'd also
That's
be miserable.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
that's not the point.
no, we're not doing business is hard enough as it is. You gotta do it because you love it, and you have to create an environment in which it works for you,
Mhm.
because that's the only way that it's sustainable, and it's the only way you're gonna like your life.
And if you're your own boss, be a good one to yourself.
Yeah, totally.
Don't
Yeah.
be a bad boss to
Yeah.
yourself.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, because you are when you're an entrepreneur, you are your own boss and you have to like
Yeah.
almost have a persona. You have to understand that you have to be kind to yourself as
Yeah.
kind as you would be to an employee.
Yes. Yeah.
Let yourself take lunch. Take a
Yeah.
break.
Yeah, and then something that it's interesting you say that. I've also like I mean, there is a difference between running the business and being an employee. There are different pressures on your shoulders
Yeah.
and responsibilities, etc. But also, I always say, I want certain things in my life. I want autonomy. I want to feel like I have responsibility over my domain. I don't want to feel like somebody else has control over me. And that is part of the reason why I'm an entrepreneur, but
Yeah.
that's also a philosophy I bring into my team. It doesn't work for everybody, but if you work for me, you have autonomy. Please don't tell me that you have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I don't care. Like,
Mhm.
please don't ask me permission to go on vacation on Friday. That is so weird to me.
Yeah.
I'm not your mom. I don't run your life.
Yeah,
Like,
let me know.
just
Hey,
let
I'm gonna
me
be
know.
gone these days. I've
Yes.
got this doctor's appointment. Let me know.
Like, get your stuff
But
done.
yeah.
And it's a subtle, like,
Yeah.
energy shift of, like, you are the boss of your life. You are the entrepreneur of your career,
Yes.
and you handle you do your stuff, and just let me know so I'm not calling you wondering why you're not answering your phone.
That's it.
Yeah.
Totally. And no, I love that. That's very much how we run the companies too.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of has their own business within our business.
Yeah.
And we kind of trust that they're going to run their companies.
Mhm.
They're going to run their piece of the business the way they need to run it. And if they don't, then we step in.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to micromanage anybody.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
the same way, like, you have to be kind to yourself as a boss, also being kind to your employees and thinking about what you would want if you were an employee as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and giving them autonomy and letting them have a little piece, having their own little piece of business to run within the business
Yes.
is a lovely thing. And it creates an ecosystem of trust
Mhm.
and a
Yep.
culture of trust
Yeah.
in your company, which is so essential
Yeah.
for everybody to be happy.
And it
Yeah.
allows them the opportunity to rise to an occasion and get better.
Heck yeah. Yes, totally. I love to have people in things that they feel competent.
Mhm.
If they're doing something and they're not feeling competent and they're not happy in what they're doing, then that's not the right thing. You got to find the thing that's going to be,
Yeah.
where's their skill set of competency. It's
Yeah.
like, here you go. Let's try this instead. If
Are y
that's not working, let's do this.
are you a manager or no?
I
Which is like
am
a funny
I am a manager. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you like being a manager.
I like managing people, but I enjoy when I can hand sections off to people. I don't
Yeah.
like to have to oversee what my employees are doing,
Mhm.
but I do. There are times when I'm like, "Ooh, okay. Well, with
Yeah.
newer employees, you have to kind of keep the training wheels on a little bit and make sure that things are getting done the way
Yeah.
that they say they're getting things done, and that's not always the case,
Mhm.
and make sure it's, like, meeting the standard to the operating procedure that they should be executing on.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, in the beginning, there's always management, but
Yeah.
it's eventually, it's like I'm hoping, I have a newer employee right now for the media company, and it's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
like, just kind of watching, making sure that everything is being accomplished in the right ways, and
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta manage.
Ugh, I'm not a manager. I'm not good at it.
It's not my favorite, but I
I mean,
do love.
I'm probably fine at it. I shouldn't say
Yeah,
that. I'm good at it.
yeah.
It's not my zone of genius.
Yeah, I feel like I'm generally pretty good at managing people, but I wanna raise them up to feel confident in their tasks that are assigned to them so they
Yeah.
can have ownership over that. Like, "This is your world, you own it." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because I don't wanna own it for you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have time for that.
I can see you being a really good boss.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Oh, I like nurturing people, and
Yeah.
I've had so many employees who've come through the doors who've started with me and ended up at their dream job.
Oh.
So for me, that's like, okay, I must be good.
Yeah.
Because if you come to work for me and then you've always wanted to work. My last social media manager got her dream job working at Viore.
Oh my gosh.
And she's so stoked, and
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. I really am. And I feel like she came to work for me. I gave her confidence. I gave her
Mhm.
autonomy over her area, and I really feel like when she came to work for me, she was really beat down from her last job. She
Mm.
felt very undervalued in her job, and I
Mhm.
kind of gave her a lot of value. Like, you can do this. I believe that these are the tasks you can accomplish, and I'm not going to babysit you. You can get it done. You can figure out how to do this. And she rose to the occasion, got her confidence back, and then her application had been in for 2 years with that other company.
Wow.
They called her out of the blue, and she's like, "I am so sorry, but I just got my dream job." And I'm like, "That is exactly what I want for you."
That is so under talked about because what you just said is one of actually the most, as much as I really am not obsessed with managing people, one of the best parts of the job is that if you are a boss that has your employees' future and you want the best for them and you want to see them grow, that is so fulfilling. I have had people on my team like that where having them work for me, I just watched them totally blossom and bloom and become confident and really own their lane and feel really good and suddenly see a bigger future for themselves. It's almost when you can expand the team that works for you, I mean, it might be just as rewarding as you growing your business and servicing your clients and customers in many ways,
Very
because
much.
this becomes almost like I don't like to say family in the workplace, but it becomes if you can create a culture that is really pro everyone accelerating, even if that means taking a job somewhere else,
Yeah.
that level of growth that you can facilitate, that you provided a safe place to do so, is really impactful and meaningful.
We've done it with multiple
Yeah,
employees now that
that's amazing.
they've come and done the training ground here and, like, gained all this confidence
Yeah.
and gone out and gotten amazing
Mm.
jobs, like the dream jobs, and I think that for me, that's what the manager is all
Yeah.
about, like, that's what this whole thing is about, is how can we help people raise them up? Like, I want people to join us at the top. I want you to come up to the
Yeah.
management level, like, if you can do that, that's great, let's go.
Mhm.
I don't wanna keep them down. If they wanna rise up and they have bigger goals and vision, like, let's go, let's get
Yeah.
there.
And also, I think that when everyone is expanding,
Mhm.
everything gets better,
Yeah,
even if that expansion means them leaving.
absolutely.
Like, everything just gets better.
Yeah. Yeah, it opened the door for another young woman to come in,
Yeah.
and she's just starting her company, her social media company, and
Cool.
I'm so proud of her. I'm so excited to be a part of her journey as she's young, she's 23,
Mhm.
she's just getting started. Reminds me of, like, a young us,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's so cool to see, okay, neat. Well, now, one door closes and another door opens.
Yes.
And I just see it as like this progressive cycle of almost like just doing the universe's job of, all
Mhm.
right, this is the next person that needs to get their confidence up and get the skills so that they can level up too.
Yeah, I think this is something I can't say because I've never really worked with men that much in my lifetime, but I do think that this is one of the misconceptions that people don't talk about enough. They say, like, oh, women are catty or competitive. This is the proof of the opposite because women managers and female business owners, we have a level of we really care.
Yeah.
There's a bigger purpose to what we're doing. Sure, we like making money. I'll talk all day long about how much I like to make money. I'm unapologetic about it. I think women should like to make money. There's no shame in it, and building wealth and all the things I think gives women such opportunity and freedom. And in the pursuit of making money, we are more willing to look into the people around us and want people to rise with us. And we care about a bigger purpose on the path to financial success or business success.
Yeah.
And that's just what makes the whole thing super rewarding.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can really have a lot of impact
Yes.
if you choose to have impact.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and it's funny, but impact can come from little things like the way you nurture your employees.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
who you hire,
Yes.
everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, impact is everywhere when you're in a leadership position,
Mhm.
and I think that's one of the best things about being an entrepreneur is that you do get to choose to have impact in
Yes.
the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in lots of ways.
I think that's also something that maybe people don't understand when they get into business or become entrepreneurs is that leadership aspect. Like,
Mhm.
you are now a leader,
Yes.
and that's a whole other responsibility.
Yes. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. Well, we want to demonstrate what we'd like to see in the rest of the world. You want to be the kind of leader that people are like, oh, okay, I want to be like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What adjectives would you like people to describe you as? Right.
Exactly.
I had another coach come on and she's like, well, how would you not like to be described? You know what I mean? That start there.
How would your employees describe you?
I think they would describe me as kind and helpful, I hope.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
I
think so.
wonder what mine would say.
I know.
They'd probably say driven,
Yeah.
like crazy work ethic, genuine, like that kind genuineness. Probably like not one word, but expanding what's possible, like
Yeah.
always kind of questioning what's possible for everybody around.
Yeah,
I think
being
they
a visionary. I
yeah.
think that's important to be a visionary leader and, always being expanding on the possibilities
Yeah.
for the company,
Yeah.
expanding the vision. Because, as the time expands, like the vision has to continue to grow and
Mhm.
expand too.
Mhm.
Would love that.
Mhm.
So you now have 5,000 episodes that you guys have booked,
Yes.
5,000 interviews,
Yes.
podcast interviews. What does that milestone mean to you? And how do you see the future of PR evolving from here?
Sometimes you have to think about the impact behind the number
Mm.
because, yeah, I think of 5,000 episodes. It's a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
And that's crazy that we've done that. But then I think about, okay, those 5,000 episodes, we predominantly work with women. We have like probably 10% of our clients over time have been men. 5,000 episodes that we've booked. That means that there's basically 5,000 episodes of women telling their stories to the world, which means that on average, let's just say, I don't even know on average, millions of people have listened to
Yeah.
those 5,000 episodes cumulatively, which means that we have taken hundreds of female entrepreneurs with female stories and millions of people have heard them.
Yes.
And that impact is crazy,
Yes.
just in a ripple effect on the world.
Yes.
Then I think about the 5,000 episodes and what each of those has done for every specific client, whether it's meeting somebody new, whether it's practicing their story, whether it's growing their business and making sales, whether it's getting book sales, whether it's getting confidence on the mic, whether it's leading to other business collaborations. And that makes me so excited because these aren't just episodes. These are truly transformative pieces of content that change not only the listener, but also the people who are having the conversation.
Absolutely.
So the future of what? PR?
PR.
Listen, traditional PR, there is a time and there is a place.
Yeah.
It does not move the needle the way it once did.
Yeah.
That's very obvious and apparent, or people just don't understand what traditional PR actually does.
Yeah.
So I have so many clients who come to me and they're like, well, I think I'm going to go with the traditional PR agency first, and then maybe I'll circle back. And they spend God knows how much, double my retainer on a traditional PR. And they come back to me 8 months later. They're like, it didn't work, didn't really do anything, but my budget's gone now. I can't hire you. I knew podcasting was it, and I should have done that in the first place. And I don't exactly know how to communicate this to people on sales calls without sounding salesy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I've just heard it too many times. Like, save your money, hire us,
Yeah.
and do the thing that actually is going to move the needle. So I think that podcasting, it is the now of PR and it is going to be the future of PR
Yeah.
because it matches so perfectly what a thought leader is. What is a thought leader? A thought leader has a variety of topics that they can speak very in depth about, that they are an expert in, that they are communicating to impact other people's lives.
Yeah.
That big of a mission cannot be contained to a reel. It cannot be contained to a blurb on a website. It has to be given the space to breathe. And podcasting is the place that it breathes. So not only is it this beautiful area for content that matches the proportion of the impact and the movement that these thought leaders are trying to do, it also gives that PR angle to it as well, because you are getting in front of new audiences that are engaged, that have the attention span to listen to you go in depth about something, who are craving your information. And you are also networking with other hosts. So it's like, it's not a kill two birds with one stone strategy. It's like a kill 10 birds with like one stone strategy. And that's why I think we're going to see more and more thought leaders utilize this. I mean, I go look at the New York Times bestseller list. I would guarantee 8 out of 10 of the first 10 are on a podcast tour for their book, like full stop. And there's a reason for that. So I think that in the future, we're going to see a lot of people who either want to step out as thought leaders or experts and personal brands, starting with the podcast as the mothership of their platform, and then being a guest on podcasts to grow their reach and to position themselves as that. I think this is just the beginning, and I think my business is proof of that, because while we've had massive success over the last almost 7 years, it's also been a push
Yeah.
to educate people on this and to convince people that this is the way. And just this year, almost 7 years in, people are now coming to me saying, I know this is the future of PR. I know this is what I need to do to be a thought leader.
Yeah.
I know this is the most important needle moving thing. And I'm like, okay, great. I don't have to convince you. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing in real time, I've been on thousands of calls with female entrepreneurs for sales. I'm seeing in real time this strategy becoming a lot more mainstream and permanent, which is amazing.
I think 2025 was the year that 51% of people now listen to podcasts.
Yes.
So it became mainstream.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So
full on mainstream.
yeah. And the best part about being a guest on podcasts as a form of PR is, listen, I always say hosting a podcast and guesting is the best. You're doing it right.
Yeah.
But you can also start with guesting if you're not sure you want to invest the commitment and the time commitment to hosting your own show.
Yeah.
So it's also a great way to dabble into the medium without committing to hosting a full show.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it is a big commitment. I'm glad I have a production background.
Yeah.
Film and television production background. I
Yeah.
think that really helped me go, okay, well, I guess I could do that.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll give it a try. And now I'm like,
You know what you're doing.
37 episodes in today.
You're
and
doing really
I'm
good.
getting there. Yeah. I'm loving it, actually. It's so much fun. It's like the most fun I have all week is when I get to go and talk to whoever I get to talk to. And we get to talk about all my favorite subjects.
Yeah.
Motherhood and business. And, it's funny. I mean, I don't think a man would say their baby is like a newborn, you know what I mean? And then it becomes a toddler.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't have the perspective
Yeah.
on it that women in business have. It's just a different perspective. It's another set of eyes on it. And I love the way that women see this.
Yes.
Scout, thank you so much for sharing your heart, your story, and your courage with us today. You've reminded us that entrepreneurship isn't just about strategy. It's emotional, and it's about holding on and showing up and trusting that the storm always passes. To learn more about Scouts Agency, visit scoutsagency.com and follow at Scouts Agency and at Scouts of Guidance. You can also check out Scout's book, The Emotional Entrepreneur, wherever books are sold. And if this episode inspired you, share it with another woman who's learning to balance motherhood and ambition. And don't forget to subscribe to The Manager, where we're redefining leadership from the inside out.